What's he doing? Yes. No, I'm not going to say that. So, our next guest needs no introduction, which is good, because they just threw me out here and I don't have one. But also, there's a really special song that these guys sing to bring him out. And I asked Mr. Borja if he wouldn't mind starting us out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for the one, the only, Mr. Misha Collins.
It's so nice to see so many people out and about. Hi! Woo! It's also so refreshing to hear that song sung by someone other than Rob. Great work, guys. We have obviated him. Do you know what that word means? It means no longer relevant. He is no longer relevant, which is such a relief, isn't it? Don't you feel like a great weight has been lifted from our shoulders? Rob's not going to see this, is he? Right. We're good. Thank you, Mike. Hi. Is everyone feeling fresh and rested? Hungover? That's not what I was talking about. I was talking about the emergency alert that woke us all up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. Oh, right, that. Oh, I slept through that. I'm fucking hammered. I was lying in my... I just flew in from Europe last night, so my biological clock is a little bit off kilter anyway. And then that alarm wasn't as soothing as you might expect. And the alert of like, get into the basement, tornado warning. In my hotel, there was no announcement from the hotel itself. And
not here either.
No, not here?
No. Nothing.
That's because they didn't care about you.
No, they
so, yeah. Oh, so what? So you didn't hide in the basement, huh?
No way.
You did? Raise your hand if you listened to the alert and went to the basement. So about 10% of you care about your own lives. 90% are like, I'm too drunk, I'm gonna stay in bed. I had this, like, I was like, oh, I'm gonna get sucked out the window. I'm in a hotel, and I was on that, like the 9th floor of the hotel, and I thought, this hotel is strong, it can handle a tornado. And then in my brain, I pictured buildings that were like shredded apart. Maybe I'm gonna be sucked out the window and dashed to the pavement, which is not something that it's not a thought that's easy to go back to sleep with. And then the window started rattling a little bit, and I was like, oh God, this is. So then I thought, you know what I'll do? I'll take the cushions off the couch, and I'll just go sleep in the hallway of the hotel, and that'll be fine. And then I was dragging my pillows out into the hallway. I thought, you know what? I think I'm just gonna get up and put this whole going back to bed business to rest once and for all. And that's where we landed. So if I nap up here, please
deserve it.
I deserve a nap?
Yes.
Oh, that's so sweet. For some people, it's like, you deserve this gold statue, and for Misha, it's, you deserve a nap. Hi.
Hi, Misha. My name is Jim.
Hi, Jim.
A few years ago, my wife asked you this question at a Vegas convention, so I just want to see if your answers changed at all.
Oh, this is the integrity check.
So, as a celebrity, what did you say that you would never do, but you find yourself that you're doing now?
And she asked me that question, and I had an answer for it, huh?
Yep, you did.
I remember this very clearly.
My question is a fill in the blank.
Okay, like a Mad Lib.
As an actor, I swore I'd never do blank, and now I'm doing blank.
So, I'm sure I could come up with a lot of things to say there, but one thing was at a party. A friend of mine had just gotten on a popular sci-fi show, and he was going to fan conventions. He was telling me about it. We were standing there, and he was like, "Oh, it's actually kind of great. Like, I get to go for a weekend to a cool city, and, meet fans." And I thought to myself, I hope to hell my career never comes to that. Like there, but by the grace of God. Luckily, I've dodged that bullet. That sounds awful.
And he was right.
I promise you that I'm going to answer this differently from how I answered it before. One of the so there are lots of things that celebrities do that none of us like. They promote themselves endlessly on social media. Check. One of the things that I really don't like seeing in celebrities is entitlement. Like, basically that attitude of, do you know who do you realize who I am kind of thing? And shortly after I started being recognized on Supernatural and started feeling like a little bit full of myself and a little bit famous, a driver at a convention in London basically was like, treated me like I was just a regular passenger. And tried to drop me off at the front entrance of this major Comic-Con with all these people walking in. And I said, "Do you know who I am?" And I realized, oh my God, I just became, like, pretty much overnight, the asshole that I never wanted to be. I've gotten better about entitlement, but it's still, it can kind of creep in sometimes. You have to be careful. I know that these are not the answers that I gave before. I don't like it when celebrities pimp out their kids. Oops.
Your answer back then was you said you would never be doing conventions.
That's right. I had a friend who was on Star Trek, and he was telling me about it. We were both actors at the time, but he was successful, and I was in a different category. And he was like, "Yeah, I'm on Star Trek. It's amazing. Like, they're paying me a bunch of money to go to Amsterdam next weekend." And he was telling me this excitedly at a party at his house. And I remember thinking, oh my God, that's so sad. I certainly hope my career never feels that desperate. Thanks for bringing that up. You're the best.
Hello, New York Times bestseller Misha Collins.
What did you call me?
New York Times bestselling author Misha Collins.
Yeah.
Can we all do that? Would that be possible for everybody?
Okay, so I wanted to ask, with your poetry, is it more reflection when you decide to write, or is there sometimes moments that something happens and you're just like, I have to write that down?
I think there are in different categories. Sometimes I'm going for a run and like a poem sort of roughly formed pops into my head. Sometimes, I'll just like be watching my kids or something and the outline of a poem will formulate. And sometimes I just like sit down. Let's move on. Hi.
Hi Misha, my name is Alicia.
Hi, Alicia.
Can you do me a quick favor? A friend of mine, April, was here earlier, but she unfortunately had to leave with her 3 kids. Can you just do me a quick favor and say hello to Isabel, Dagan, and Abby?
Hi, Isabel, Dagan, and Abby.
Thank you so much, Misha.
It's nice to be able to say hi to the 3 people who aren't here.
Yes. They were very sad.
It sounds like a good use of our collective time resources.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So you recently tweeted about Dean Cass on AO3 hitting 100,000 fix. My question is, can you tell me how many of them you've read personally, and do you have any favorites?
Well, I mean, okay, how many have I read, or how many have I written? Because technically, when you write it, you kind of read it too, as you go. Nobody ever believes my answer to this question, so I think it's another waste of everyone's time.
I'm good at that.
What was it called? Live Journal. When I first got on Supernatural, I was just trying to figure out when they were going to kill me off. And so I would go online to look at like people's response to the episode that just aired. This is in season 4. And at the time, I didn't even have a Twitter account. There was no back and forth. It was just me sort of creepily peering behind the internet curtain at what people were saying about me. And one of the places that I could find sort of more trove-like analysis of episodes was on this website called LiveJournal, which I don't even know if it still exists. But there I would see, read like, oh, in this episode, and that was like often it was like, yeah, we like this character or something. And then I went, I followed some rabbit hole and I found this thing and was like, oh wait, this is weird. This is not like a review of the episode. This is like a scene that we never shot. And it was, I don't know, at one point, Dean or Cass started fellaciating the other one. And I was like, what the fuck? I forget some of the things that we shoot, but I'm positive we didn't shoot this. Anyway, that's it. That's all I ever read. It's not been a significant pastime for me. But again, you won't believe me, and so I don't know why I went through that.
I do believe you. Fun fact, the very first Dean Cass fic was written the night you premiered on the show. Somebody wrote one and posted it that night.
That is a very fun fact. Thank you for that. Do you know what the name of that is?
Lazarus Rising.
That's the name of the fanfic?
It's the name of the fanfic, yes, Lazarus Rising.
I bet there's about 500 of those by that title.
You have read them.
I just stepped in a trap. She knew if she kept me talking, she could get me to reveal. So, how do we count? It's also kind of amazing to think that there are 100,000 of these works of fiction out there. 100,000 is a large number with a lot of words and a lot of people hours went into that. And most of them have been read by other people, which represents additional time. I wonder how many there are that are titled Lazarus Rising. Could you answer that question?
No.
Okay.
Sorry.
How do they count them, even? Like, are they're all
They're tagged.
hashtagged or something?
They're tagged as characters and pairings and relationships, so you can sort by that, and it counts how many. So it's probably more than 100,000 because there's probably some missed tagged ones. There's probably a million.
So sloppy.
It's a free website, give it.
354, thank you for that answer. You're not allowed to steal things in Canada. And at the end of the show, at the end of the series, we were all, you know what, I was planning to drive up with a moving truck, but COVID had hit by the time the final episode was being shot, and I wasn't allowed in the country. So I never stole the volume of things I intended to. But lucky for me, I did manage to steal some stuff on my last day of shooting. And obviously, I'm joking about all this. I would never steal anything. And I, say that both to the authorities and to the executives at Warner Brothers. But I have a bunch of trench coats, Angel Blade, some of the books, what do they call it, Supernatural, that Chuck wrote. I have some mugs. I have another weapon. I can't remember what it is. Maybe it's do I have I think I might have the demon killing knife. I have a bunch of things. Of course, I'm joking, but I have them in a box. I have pieces of a stunt Impala, several of them. Not really, obviously. But I have a bunch of stuff. Joking.
My question is, what is the worst way that your name has been mangled?
Well, I don't even know what you're talking about. My name is mangled at the outset because my legal name is Dimitri, and my mother thought the nickname for Dimitri was Misha, but it's sometimes Mitya in Russian, which is different. So Misha is the nickname for Mikhail. So she gave me she wanted to call me Misha, but she gave me the wrong actual name. So my name is mismatched with my nickname. And my whole name is mangled at the outset. So my legal name is Dmitry Tippins Krushnik. That's a horrible name. And my grandmother's name was Collins, so I thought, well, that's nice. I've always been called Misha, so actually, like in high school, they had my name as Misha Dmitry Tippins Krushnik, which flows trippingly off the and so my grandmother's family name was Collins, and so I thought I could do this, and my brother's middle name is Collins. I don't know how he got so lucky, and my brother is Sasha Collins Krushnik, which is much nicer, and my mom wanted to call him Alexander or Alexei or Alexis or Alex, and then have Sasha be the nickname, which is the right pairing for nickname and name, but he was going to choose his real name later, and later it just stayed Sasha, so he got his nickname as his actual name. And I don't know why I'm telling you so much about this, but I do. And so when I decided to be Misha Collins as my stage name, it felt like a relief, because I've always been called Misha, so that actually feels like my real name. And Collins is easy to say, and no one is going to expect me to have a thick Russian accent when I show up at an audition. And but I felt a little bit of compunction about it, because I was jettisoning my dad's last name as my stage name. My Krushnik is gone. And so I called my dad, and I was like, Dad, I decided to go with the stage name Misha Collins, kind of sheepish, and I'm not gonna have a last name of Krushnik for my stage name. and I'm not gonna have a middle name. And he's like, well, you don't have a middle name anyway. All right, fine. I don't care anymore about your feelings on this transaction because you didn't even know my name. Yeah, I do have a middle name, Dad. It's on my birth certificate and my passport, and you gave it to me. And you're just trying to forget because it sucks. And my grandmother didn't really approve of the like exotic name. My mother's name is Becky. My father's name is Richard. So Misha feels a little bit, you know, dissonant, and my grandmother didn't really love it, and so she always called me Misha, just to stick it to my mom. She would never acclimate to Misha.
Thank you.
I gave you a lot. You gave me a little, and I gave you a lot.
That's perfectly fine.
Hi Misha, this is Leslie, and I wanted to tell you that I thoroughly enjoy your poetry book, your poetry in general, when you read to us and on social media. And I was wondering, are there plans for a book tour with that book or readings? And would you read for us now?
I don't know about, probably not a book tour, because I'm traveling too much anyway, and although maybe if I do more traveling, I might just try to fold in some bookstore stops along the way, but I've sort of not had the bandwidth for that lately. Yesterday, I was delayed in my travels, so yesterday's plans had to go out the door, but I was going to be recording the audiobook version here in Nashville yesterday. Now that's going to have to wait until after the new year, but soon I'll record an audiobook version, which will be fun, I guess. Although I have to say, I feel very comfortable getting up on stage and talking about nonsense. But when you ask me to read a poem, I get super nervous. So we'll see. Maybe like the whole audiobook will be my voice sort of trembling as I read my poems. But yeah, I would read one, but I don't have a book. Well, that failed.
I lent you mine before.
What poem should I read?
I'm terrible at the titles, but my favorite one has a line in it about the sky being the perfect color of cold.
Okay. Can you find that poem for me?
I don't have the book with me.
Because otherwise I'll be looking through the book looking for it. Thanks.
I found it.
What page is it on?
33. I think he's talking about fallback.
Thank you for picking a short one. Fall back. It's the first cold rain of late fall, and for the first time, I turn on my apartment's fireplace. The smell of summer's dust is burning off. My landlord says he can't find a light bulb that fits this room's lamp. The clouds out the small window and the sound of rain running down the glass, along with the fire, could add up to autumn coziness. But in this nest, there is no you, so all I see is damp and dark today. Thank you.
Thank you, Misha.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, Misha. So I love the Sam and Castiel relationship and how they are so supportive and understanding of each other, but then they also have this strange hobby where they enjoy poking around in Sam's body and nearly killing him. So Peace of Mind is one of my favorite episodes.
Sometimes I forget how absurd our show is.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember, we call it the soul fisting scene where he like puts his arm in fast. And
Sadly, there is probably not a more apt description.
Bite down on this. If there's some place that you find soothing, you should go there. In your mind.
Hello.
Hi, my name's Malia, and this is my first con.
Wait, say your name again?
Malia.
Hi, Malia.
Hi.
Hi.
So first,
Welcome to your first convention. How is it for you? Is it sort of scary?
Sort of, but it's more fun than scary.
Well, that's good. Is this your first question at the microphone to one of us performers on stage?
It is.
How is that going for you?
Nerve-wracking, but exciting.
It's what?
Nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So first, I just want to thank you for all that you've done both on and off the show.
Thank you. That's, by the way, excellent etiquette. She's a first-timer, but starting off the question with a compliment is very good form. Something some of you old-timers should maybe take a page from.
But my question was, if you could have spent any more time with any character on the show, who would it be and why?
Do you mean like characters that I played or characters that other people played?
Characters that other people have played.
Oh no, I wouldn't be so interested in that. You know, I just got the sweetest email from Jim Beaver, who he had read my book, and he wrote me an essay, basically, in response, and it was so lovely. But it made me realize, like, oh, I miss Jim, but I also wish I had had more time with him. And Bobby and Cass didn't have we didn't have a lot together. We were in a bunch of scenes, a bunch of episodes, but it was usually like the whole game, and we didn't have much time as like one-on-one character development on the show. So I would have loved to have a more in-depth relationship with the avuncular Bobby, because I loved that character, and I think that could have been. I think that could have been a rich well to draw from, and I also would love to have had the opportunity to spend more time on set with Jim Beaver.
Hi, Misha.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Michelle. So my question for you is, you like poetry just a little bit. And I was wondering, if Cass were to write poetry, what topics do you think he would write about? You can take that however you want.
I think that Cass would probably write about soul fisting.
That's valid.
And he would awkwardly try to write in rhyme. Yeah. And it would make all the other angels cringe. You're kind of like, I can't see you that well, but from your posture, it almost feels like you're waiting for me to recite Cass's rhyming poem about soul fisting, and that is not forthcoming, just so you know.
I had a slight follow-up question, and that was, what do you think Dean's reaction would be if he were to find that poetry?
It wouldn't be good. His reaction would be to go to Sam and be like, dude, I think we have to get this guy out of the bunker. You should see the shit he's writing in his room. It's gross.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, Misha.
Hi.
Ashley from Brooklyn, Ohio.
Brooklyn, Ohio?
Port Clinton, Ohio.
Wait, say that again?
Port Clinton, Ohio.
Okay. I believe you. I'm not going to try to say it back to you. I'm done with that.
Dear Toledo. I really didn't have a question, but I was just wondering, how are your kids doing?
How are my kids doing?
Yes.
Well, thanks. That's a question. Thanks for asking. I think they're doing okay. I've been doing the show Road Food, which is causing me to travel, and it's taken a little bit longer than I had originally thought it was going to take when I signed up for it. And I also told them when I was signing up for it that I definitely had to be done shooting by the end of the summer because I had a bunch of conventions and didn't want to be away from the kids so much. And then we started shooting at the end of the summer. So I've been away from them too much this fall, and that's been a little bit challenging for me. I call them, and they seem fine, which is sort of depressing. But they're doing okay, yeah. I realized my sort of extended family is coming to my house for Christmas, and we have often struggled with what are we doing as a family unit for Christmas? What is our plan here? Are we all just buying as many presents as we can for each other, or are there limits? What are we doing? And I realized that I was having anxiety about that process. I don't know if you do. Do you do Christmas?
Yes.
Yeah. So a lot of people love Christmas, but I've always had this problem with Christmas, which is you go down. This was as a child. I would not be able to stay in bed. I was so excited. The anticipation was so exciting. Like, well, first of all, this is going to turn into another long answer. My grandfather, we would have Christmas with my grandparents, and my grandfather had a bear trap. And he would always set the bear trap with milk and cookies in it right in front of the fireplace. And his rationale, which I was 100% behind, was Santa Claus is coming down the chimney, he's exhausted, not watching what he's doing, and he's a sucker for milk and cookies. We know that about him. He has on his back all of the presents for all of the children in the world. We catch him, we are in Fat City. We have all of the presents. So every year we would set the bear trap, and in the morning I would be like, oh, I hope we got Santa. And I'd run downstairs, and inevitably there are a few crumbs and an empty glass of milk. The trap is closed, and there's a small piece of red velvety fabric in it. He always managed to get away and get the milk and cookies. Wily bastard that he was. So, but I always had this like anticipation for, you know, that excitement about opening the presents. But then there was always this like, there was too many presents, and at the end of opening all the presents, I always felt this emptiness. Like, is that it? I'm supposed to feel satisfied, but I don't feel better. I just feel a little bit hollow from this interaction with things. So, and I realized I still don't look forward, even as an adult, giving presents to my kids and watching them sort of like tear things open and the sort of weird gluttony and selfishness of it all. These disgusting animals that I created. And so I kind of floated it to Mason. I was like, Mason, I have a weird idea. What if this year we just don't do Christmas presents for each other? What if we just find some other families out there who actually like feel like they need and want things? Because I had asked the kids, what do you want for Christmas? And they're like, I don't know, we kind of have everything we want. And Mason was like, yeah, let's do that. And she immediately started making a list of the things that we could give to other families. And then Wes from the kitchen was working on his homework, and he overheard us talking about it, and he said, yeah, I want to do that. Wes then described having the exact same emotional roller coaster as I did as a child, like feeling hollow at the end of Christmas morning. So I think we're skipping giving each other gifts this year, and I think we're all excited about that prospect.
Hi, my name is Krisha.
Hi.
First, I just want to thank you for your support and validation of queer fans and Destiel fandom. It's meant a lot to so many of us.
Thank you.
My question is, throughout the pandemic and quarantine, I know you were texting with a lot of fans, which is certainly a different way to engage with fandom. And I was wondering what that experience was like for you.
It was nice. I mean, you know, it's funny. Isn't it interesting how like the different modes of communication have such different weight, right? Like texting is so personal, even though you can DM someone on Twitter, and that's also technically the same thing, really. But they all have, everything has different. Each social media platform has different qualities, and texting is its own sort of animal. I don't know, it's interesting. I like to, speaking of like the things that you do as a celebrity that you are ashamed of, one of the things that I'm interested in is like not just following whatever template that everybody sets. It's really interesting as like you step into the role of actor and fan, there's a template that is codified in our social structure that we all are kind of aware of without even knowing it. Like there's a certain way that we're expected to behave in that relationship. And I've always been interested in like, what if we just did something different, didn't engage in that way? And so for me, like being able to text with people directly is a great example of like, well, let's just do something different and see how that goes. And at the same time, I have to be careful to like keep some boundaries up and let people know that I don't actually know them that well, and we're not actually best friends, and that is sometimes hard to convey to people, especially for me, who's like, I want to please everybody, and I want to be nice to everybody, and then they're like, but this is actually also technically a parasocial dynamic. It's not totally, you know, a close friendship, and we have to, you know, remember that. So it's an interesting like exercise for me of bridging those two dichotomous impulses of like, on the one hand, protecting myself, and on the other hand, being open, you know? Even like writing a book that's personal is a little bit of that same tension. I'm kind of exposing myself, but I also didn't include all of my poems for a reason, you know? Yeah. Thanks.
How did it go for you?
I think it went pretty well. I rambled a bit today, and I apologize.
It's your panel.
It is my panel, but it's their time.
Yeah, that's true. And they'll never get that back.
No.
Nevertheless, ladies and gentlemen, it's your favorite angel, Misha Collins!